Valentina, so dominant. When you look at those numbers, is it difficult to stay motivated? Because unlike, say, Volkanovski, who loves to look at himself in an underdog role all the time, that's kind of difficult to do for you, I would imagine.
Not at all, because I know that competition in my weight class is very strong, and to keep the place where I am right now, I have to work very hard. This is what I do day by day.
When you watch Lauren Murphy, what is it as she's weighing in right now and walks to the scale? Obviously very durable. She's coming in on a 5-fight win streak. But what do you see when you watch her?
You know, I know that she's kind of like bigger fighter in 125, and she's
125, the official weight for Lauren
when
Murphy.
I fought in Houston a couple years ago, and it was kind of like pre-fight night. No, it was like tomorrow weigh-ins, and she was like training and looks like training for a long time, and she was happy that she was weighing 135. So it means that she's cutting a lot. So she's kind of like bigger fighter. But I know exactly that I fought like 135 in even bigger fighters, and it's kind of like normal for me. And I know what I have to do tomorrow, and I'm ready for this because I was training very hard for this. And everything that I will do, it's towards the victory.
You make our jobs as analysts both very easy and very hard at the same time, because when we're trying to talk about a fight, we want to talk about both sides, right? The possibility of how someone could win. And when it comes to you, it becomes very hard to tell that story sometimes on the other side of things. But you know, this is a sport where sometimes we have surprises. You have by far the most complete game in all of women's MMA. But when you look at Lauren's game, is there anything that you see, I'm not going to say that poses you a challenge, but what would be the one area where you think, okay, that's maybe one thing I need to look out for, or that's something at least it's on my radar. Maybe I'll put it that way.
It better say that my mind, my brain is work like this, as that I have to watch any of my opponents and think I have to be careful of everything. Yeah. Because it's MMA. It's kind of like even when you are not expecting something, it can land, right? That's why it's better be prepared and be ready for it and never got it. And it's kind of like what I see and what I do when I train. I train for everything. So I have to be worried about anything.
Valentina, you constantly seem to be traveling and exploring different things and different training methods, and it doesn't seem to matter where you're at in the world, you find a way to train. And do you attribute that a lot to your success? I mean, you could be in a forest. I've seen you doing spinning back kicks on trees. Are you one of those people that when you wake up, one of the first things on the agenda is when am I getting my workouts in no matter what I'm doing?
I think that my number one, what I really look for in my training, and not to be comfortable in the trainings. That's why kind of like when you are traveling and you don't have like your gym where you know everything, where you are comfortable to train, you have your training partners, but still you are able to find the way how to prepare in your best like shape. It means that like that's fine. This is what I'm looking for.
And since you're always working out, shooting guns, doing things that are dangerous and intimidating, what's the softer side of Valentina?
Softer side.
We've been showing these videos of Brian Ortega and Tracy Cortez, so we got to find the softer side. So in your downtime, what's your favorite thing to do when you're relaxing?
I very like to cook. Yeah,
nice.
I enjoy like my time to cook.
I think you said sweets too. You have a sweet tooth, I think.
I do. Thank you. I enjoy a lot to not only eat, right? Because for me, cooking, it's like the whole ceremony. It's kind of like you're preparing food, you're sharing the like good vibes with your friends, right. And then definitely, yeah, you enjoy like the whole process. So it's kind of like for me. My time where I relax, like a soul relax.
Valentina, for a long time I've been a fan, and a while back.
Better be.
Oh, she's like you don't even want to believe how high regard I hold her in. But I was able, when I first started doing detail on ESPN Plus, one of the first episodes was Valentina Shevchenko, and I focused a lot on your counter striking. But lately, you've been more willing to take the lead. When we went back to the Holly Holm fight, you were standing back. Everything she did, you countered. But then last time against Andrade, you took the fight to her. Is this something that you're doing on purpose? Is this a plan? Or have you just kind of really had to get outside of the comfort zone of just standing back and being a counter-strike and allowing for someone like Amanda Nunes to essentially steal 2 fights on activity?
It all depends of my opponent. It all depends their fight style, and it's kind of like I train both. I train counter-strike. I train like attack. I train wrestling, and it's kind of like everything. But what I will use in the fight is all mostly depends on my opponent.
You know, so when you look at Lauren Murphy, right, and she kind of plods forward at times, and she's a bit flat-footed. When you look at the fight and you visualize it, as most fighters do, how do you see this one going and ending on Saturday night?
It's a very interesting question. It's kind of like hard to predict because I know for sure I will go for the victory. This is number one. And I know for sure when I will see the whole, when I will see I can finish the fight, I will finish it. No matter how I'm going to do it, like submission, knockout, KO, like whatever. But everything that I know, I will go for the victory.
She's never been finished before. Is that something that you're cognizant of? I mean, obviously you're always going for the finish, but is that something where, you know, you win and it goes to decision, that's great, but you want to finish her to be the first one to ever do that? Is that something that even crosses your mind?
You know, I was in all years what I'm competing and what I learned in martial arts, you cannot go, I want to do knockout, I want to do submission, because more harder you want it, it's more probably you're never going to get it. So if you go with the flow, you can have it. But if you go for it, you're going to freeze.
Right.
Because you are preparing just one knockout, and you will lose your all your arms. In the time when you can throw like everything, you're going to look just for one punch. And it's going to kind of like will limit you in your game. That's why I'm not look for just one. I look for whatever will strike out from me.
The harder you want. It sounds like my dating life as a kid. Like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Champ, lately it's been win a fight, get a title fight, right? Because you've beaten everybody. So the win streaks have not been long to get to the championship. At what point did you start to look at Lauren Murphy and go, this will be one of the people I fight? Or it took so long, it seemed as though the UFC was hesitant to grant her that title fight. She got to 5. But at what point did you start to look at Lauren Murphy as a potential title challenger?
As I know, as I heard, she was almost like over there. Like we almost was scheduled to fight, but it was kind of like her things that did something. Like I don't know what. Maybe she didn't want, and it shows that she's kind of like not wanting it that much to like that fight. But when I started to look at her as an opponent, after I signed the contract.
Oh, that was it, right? So when she was winning all these fights in a row, you didn't go, hey, I think Lauren Murphy's like getting close.
No, it's kind of like every time watch all contenders in my weight class, and I kind of like look them. I know who they are and like what their strikes, but it's not the things when you look very carefully. But when you start to look, analyze, and study, and all these things, it's like going after I sign the contract and I see the name.
Okay. Valentina, you have faced off with many challengers for this belt. You've challenged for the 135-pound belt. You've done a lot of stare downs and a lot of face-offs with some of the baddest women on the planet. Do you take any stock in what you feel from your opponent when you do these media press things, or when you guys actually get to face off, for example, today at weigh-ins? Do you sense any energy from your opponents? And if so, do you feel any confidence, lack of confidence? Because you're definitely that person at the top of the mountain that's going to be feeling pressure when they face off with you. Can you sense that from your opponents?
You can sense kind of, but not all. Yes, because sometimes you feel a lot of confidence in them, like in this like face-off, like angry view or something like that. But it's kind of like undercover. Sometimes you can feel, sometimes you can't, but partially, I would say.